All right, guys, just like the thumbnail says, is 2 spy poles better than 1? Well, I think it is. I've always had 2 turrets on my boat. I like having that when fishing structure. So if you're spot locked down on brush piles or whatever you want to fish, and you have someone else with you, man, it sure is nice to have 2 live scopes. They have their own live scope, their own screen. They can fish that brush pile while you're fishing the brush pile with yours. If you can afford it, man, that's great to have. If you can't, understand. But I like to have 2. I installed 1 spy pole on my boat already, and it is installed on the port side. So what I did is I ordered from Beatdown a offset crossover piece for my Beatdown ultimate mount, so I could move it over 3 or 4 inches, be able to get this other one on there. I got that installed yesterday. This spy pole has a LVS 34 and a 360 on it. This one is just going to have just the LVS 34. I'm not going to go over the whole install. Man, this thing is so easy to install. You don't even need the instruction manual. I never even read the manual on it. So there is a few things that I'm going to point out that are might be a little confusing, or that you might have questions on the install. Those are what I'm going to answer, because once I answer them, you're not going to need the manual for anything on this spy pole. It is so easy to install. Now, there is some setup to it that can be a little confusing. It really isn't once you find out what you have to do to get it set up. Very easy, but it does look confusing. We're going to go over that as well. I don't know if we're going to do it in this video. We might make another on the water video when we set this up. Now, the spy pole, I think you can have up to 4 spy poles on your boat. I don't remember that number, but I'd never have 4. 2 is more than plenty. But I know you can only pair 1 spy pole to the Garmin Force at a time. So we're just going to leave this one on the port side with the 360. That one will be paired to the Garmin Force. That way, when I'm out by myself and I'm out looking for suspended water, out in the open water, looking for those individual fish, I can follow the trolling motor. So this spy pole should be able to do everything that this one does except for follow the trolling motor. It should be able to lock on waypoints. It should be able to, like I said, any of the features it should do except follow the trolling motor. Now, of course, it's not going to have a 360 on it. Now, we'll set it up on one of the graphs, and we'll have spy pole, probably we'll call it spy pole starboard, and maybe in spy pole port. So let's open this box up. I'll kind of show you what's in it, so you can see how it comes. I haven't opened this one up yet, so we shall see. Hope there's nothing wrong or no damage to it. Garmin does a great job, man, on packaging everything up. I've never ran into a problem with anything Garmin has as far as that goes. I mean, Garmin just makes some good stuff. They really do. Here's your instruction manual. We don't need that. You're not really, you really don't need it. It comes packaged, man, really good. Look at that. It's pretty nice how it comes packaged up. Get our Miller Tech battery tray back up there. What we'll do is we'll get these boxes out. And get rid of this big box out of the way. Like I said, it comes very well packaged. What we'll do is we'll get rid of this box. This box here, all it is your is going to be your kickstand, you know, your support for your trolling motor to support it. That goes on a little different way. You'll have to take the one off that you have in order to mount the bracket on, and then you'll mount this to the bracket. It's real easy to do. Nothing hard about that at all. There's the mounting pieces that you'll need for it. That's all that is. Let's get this opened up. All right, this is your mount. That's going to be the mount for your Elvius 34, 32, or 62 that you're going to mount on the bottom of the spy pole. Okay, here's all they give you new knobs for putting your forward-facing sonar, your 32 or your 34 or 62 on it. It comes with different the different pieces that you need for each mount. This here is going to be there's a rubber mount protector piece that goes on the bottom, and I'll show you how that goes. Get this opened up. Let's see what we got here. That's foot pedal. This opened up. All right, there's the foot pedal. And we're going to need the foot pedal for sure for the second mount, because it's not going to be linked to the trolling motor. Now, the one good thing about the spy pole is when you hit spot lock, then you control the spy pole with your trolling motor foot pedal. Man, that's what's so good about this. So I never even used this yet. So I'm on this one yet, but I've got it on the boat. But for the second person, if we're on structure, then we're going to need the foot pedal for this one. So that foot pedal. Now it's going to talk about in the instructions about pairing and all that. It's already paired from the factory. You don't need to pair this to that. It's already paired. But if you did, the whole thing on Garmin is it's always a 3-button push. The light turns blue on the spy pole. And then you're gonna take these 2 top buttons and you're gonna push them 3 times, and it goes into pairing mode and it'll automatically pair. That's all you do to it. It's real easy to do that. Let's see what else we got in here. There's the most important piece we need right there. All right, this is the mount that we're going to put on our Garmin Force Pro. And what's good, this mount, you can use it either way. If you put it on the starboard side, it's going to go on like that. If you put it on the port side, it go on like that. So it's universal. You can turn it around each way. That's how we're going to be able to get fit 2 on here, is with the mount. And then let's find, we have our, okay, there's our bolts that hold the mount on. They're in this white box. Okay, so we went over the foot pedal. Here's a bracket that comes with the foot pedal that you can mount that down to the deck of your boat, and then it basically will hold that foot pedal down on the deck. I'm not going to put that on mine because I don't know where I want the pedals at, but if you know where they are, you can go ahead and use that to mount that down with. We got another. All right. Okay, you got a power cord. All you got to do, guys, is hook this to, you can hook it to 12, 24, 36 volts. Doesn't matter on the spy pole. Just remember, red is positive and black is negative. That's all you have to know on this. I mean, and then you're just going to power the spy pole up. That's the only thing the spy pole actually connects to anything on the boat, because it's doing it through the wireless network. It does it two ways. It's a wireless Wi-Fi type deal to where you pair your graph to it, you pair the trolling motor to it, and you can pair the heading sensor, we'll talk about that in a minute, to it that comes with it. But it also will communicate with the NEMA network through the graph when you pair it to the graph to pick up a heading sensor you might have if you don't want to use the one that comes with it. We'll talk about that. But that's all you got to do is that's power with that. And this is a loom that makes the install wiring look real nice and neat. And that's basically you're gonna slide your transducer wire through it to make it look neat when it comes out of the spy pole here. The only thing that I want to talk about on this is one of the, can be a confusing thing, is you're going to get these two black collars. And I'm just going to tell you, I did watch Garmin's videos because I'm a subscriber to Garmin's channel, and I watched a few of the videos that they had. And they never talked about these collars in their video. If they did, I missed it. But what they are is, and that's one of the only confusing things that you need to know, is it's got a tapered end on it. So when that loom, you have to take this cover off of the spy pole, take it off, there's 4 screws. And when that loom goes in there, it's tapered, it kind of goes in there to not let the loom come out. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, this end here is the end that's gonna go to your bow panel like. That's the other end. This is the end on the spy pole. But what you have to do, this is, like I said, this will eliminate some confusion. You're gonna put that in here, and you want that edge, the tapered end, down in it. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna put this inside that loom, okay, like that. And then you're gonna fold this inside, okay? So I would just get, a couple inches of it sticking up, and you're just gonna fold that down inside of that plastic piece, okay? And what that small one's for, it's tapered as well, it goes inside of that, okay? And that's what holds this thing from pulling out. That's all that does. So that's one of the things that I wanted to go over. That was a little confusing to me on installing it. was that part of it. Anyway, that's what that is. It's going to come with these mounting, they stick onto the bottom side of your trolling motor to run your cable alongside of it. Depending on if you want to run it down the port side or the starboard side. If it runs down the port side, you're going to have to bolt that one on. There's a place for that you would bolt it on. If you don't, then these just kind of stick on with self-adhesive like a tape. I don't use those. I always run mine. I use these little electricians use this. It's real sturdy. It's made for outdoors, and it's a sticky, small sticky piece that you can take and put a zip tie through. And I run them down on the outside of this channel of that Garmin Force Pro. I've always done that. I like that better. That way, if I didn't use these because they only give you two of them, and I think you need 3 or 4 of them. So to make a real nice, neat job, and I'll show you that in a little bit. They just go right down the side of that. Another thing to remember is, and we'll talk about it, the transducer. It comes with these snap collars on your transducer when you're feeding it up through the spike hole. If you've got a factory connector on there, you'll have to cut that off because it's not going to fit through the spike hole and everywhere it's got to go to get it fed through there. So then what they do is they give you these little plastic pieces with O-ring and everything. They work fine. I've taken all the factory connectors off every one of my transducers. Had to, because putting them down bow panels and everything else. Those come included with it as well. All right. See what we got here. This is another reason why that I really do like what Garmin did, is they give you a remote control. And that thing is tiny. It's about the size of a quarter. And it's already paired. I know it'll tell you, and if you do read any directions or whatever, it'll tell you that about pairing it. It already comes paired to your spike hole. If not, it's the same deal. You're gonna push the sync button on your power button on your spike hole 3 times. Light will turn blue. You'll take this and you'll take the left and right arrow and you'll push them both down at the same time. I think 3 times, same thing, and it pairs this with that with the spike hole. But this already comes paired, just like the foot pedal. Another thing is it gives you all kinds of options. It gives you some rod to put on your rods, where you can have this on your rod. It gives you it even gives you a holder to mount it down on something. It gives you all kinds of different options for this remote. What I did is I just used the lanyard. It gives you a lanyard option here. And I'll show you what I do, or what I did on this pole. It comes with this, which is pretty neat. So you can just all right, so it gives you this little lanyard. All you gotta do is clip that in there like that. You can just wear that around your neck if you want to. That's the way I do it. All right. Let's see what's in this. Okay, this is the heading sensor. I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. All right. This is a wireless heading sensor. And of course you want to mount it just like any other heading sensor. You want to mount it in an area to where you're not going to have any electrical interference. I mounted mine right up here on the bow. I know I already have like 2 other heading sensors on here. I have like 2 24XDs on already, but I just went ahead and mounted the one that came with it because it was wireless. Now, the heading sensor, we shouldn't have to mount this one with 2 spy poles because you can pair, it'll pick up this heading sensor with the other spy pole. I think you can go up to 4 with this. Could be wrong, but I think that's the way it's going to go. So we're not going to have to mount this. So we'll save it in case we ever need an extra spare or whatever. Anything could happen. And I think that's all the pieces. That is all the pieces, guys. We'll get this spy pole here. And you know, the thing about Garmin is, you know, everything they make is real heavy duty. And I mean, it looked heavier than it actually is. I think this thing weighs like 9 pounds. I'm not for sure on that, but it's not as heavy as I thought it was. So that's why I went ahead and said I was going to put 2 on the trolling motor. Also, Garmin has an upgraded shock. And I also purchased that and installed that the other day. So it's on here. I haven't tried it yet. I just put that on yesterday. So that's the spy pole. We'll talk about that just a little bit, but how it works. You got this groove here. You're going to feed the transducer end of your whichever transducer you want to put on here. This is the LVS 34. And see, it's not going to go on there but that's got one of them snap pieces already on it, snap connector on it. I'll remove this and fish it up through. You'll remove 4 screws, take the cap off, pull it through, you'll turn it and go right in that loom that we talked about, and then put the cover back on it. You'll just make it real nice, good rounded bend, nothing real sharp underneath here. Put the cover on it with that loom on it. Feed your cable through here. And what this is for is down here, is this goes in. This is what takes that groove up. So when you bolt your transducer on here, on the bottom, it can come out. So that's what covers this opening on the spy pole. Also, if you've got the 360, your LVS 34, 32, 62, whatever will come out of here. It'll come out of here, and then you'll put the 360 on the bottom. Real simple, real simple. But that's it. I mean, it removes off real easy. And we'll go ahead and get it installed, and then I'll show you guys how I got the cable fed up through and that kind of stuff. We'll go through the setup and see. We should be able to do the setup. I think I did my setup in here in the garage, except for the heading sensor. The heading sensor is the same as anything else, just like doing your LVS 34 setup. You're gonna put it in pair mode. You're gonna have to turn the boat nice and steady least amount of waves, nice, good, steady turn, 1.5 turn. Then that'll lock that part in, and then you're going to have to do the second part of the heading sensor setup, which is you're going to look ahead of you and kind of find something on the lake that you want to go, that you can keep the same heading dead to that point, and get up on plane and keep that same heading pointed for a certain amount of time, and it'll automatically calibrate that, and you're done. I mean, that's all you have to do. Like I said, this whole thing is very easy to install. And let's get it installed, and we'll come back. So all you're going to do is you're going to feed the cable of the 34 through there, and then that rubber grommet goes on there to kind of stop it from hitting that sharp edge. That's all that does. It just slides on there. That's all it does. Not a big deal. You can see we got it bolted on with the three bolts, Allen head bolts. They each got a washer. Another thing I want to talk about is this is a locking collar. So wherever you get it set, then this locking collar, it usually comes bolted up here. It just takes a small screwdriver. You'll unloosen, it's a split collar, and it'll slide down there. That way this thing can't go down any more than where you set this at. And the reason why that is you don't want the transducer to hit the prop of the trolling motor, because it's gonna come down here when we get the mount on. And that's what that's for. So wherever you set it at, the lowest you'd ever want it is where you put that locking collar. All right, guys, now that we got the transducer cable pulled through the spy pole, now all we have to do is take that loom. We've already got our 2 plastic collars in there to hold that. We're going to feed our transducer through here. So we've got our loom threaded on here. All we're going to do is go through this hole on the spy pole. Now we haven't put our transducer on the bottom yet, so we might have to make an adjustment down there. We're just going to go ahead and get this in here. So we've fed our cable through, then we made a turn, we stuck it in that loom, we stuck it all through here, and then the lid on the spy pole, we're going to put that back on, and that is what holds tension down on that plastic collar to keep it from coming out. Pretty good idea. All right, before we put the mount on the spy pole, you're gonna get a new, you're gonna pick out whichever one you got. We've got the LVS 34. It's gonna come with a new knob, and it's gonna come with this bolt, nut, and even the correct Allen wrench to bolt this on. It slides on the bottom of the spy pole, the bolt, the nut goes on here, tighten it down. Now, depending on which one that you have, you're gonna get this piece here. And there's some sticky adhesive on the back. You have to remove this. All right, so you'll just take this, kind of what I always do is like, I wanna know, if I got it in the right place. So that all three are in there. So all we're gonna do is remove the sticky and then put that right back on there. And you get three of these. There's gonna be one for the 62, the 34, and the 32. So you just gotta get the right, whatever, it's in the same pack as the LVS 34, and it'll have everything in there that you need. So we'll go ahead and get that stuck on there. I've got the transducer mounted on the spy pole. There's that bolt and that nut we put through. We went ahead and put our LVS 34 in the forward position. And I've got the transducer on the starboard side of the spy pole. And then on the port side, I got the port transducer on the forward on the port side of the spy pole on the port spy pole. All right, before you start running your transducer wire down, you need to make sure you have plenty up here. Now I might have to make an adjustment on the water, but I happen to know this one works great. But you want to make sure that when you turn this, that it will turn all the way that way, and you got enough to turn all the way that way. As long as you got enough, I ran it up under here. That way it wouldn't catch the trolling motor. We'll just have to see what it does out on the water. And then all I did is I ran right down the side of the channel and went right into the bow panel. All right, guys, the last part is your kickstand. Now it comes long because it's for different boats. You'll have to cut it off. It's gonna come with the bracket and these 4 bolts to bolt that on. It's gonna come with the piece that's gonna touch your boat carpet when it's stowed. And then that's the top piece for your trolling motor strap, cord for the top of it. But that's the pieces it comes with. What you'd have to do is you can either put it on the starboard side, which is most common, or you can put it on the port side. So you'll have to just measure from here up to here, and then that'll just go on there. And then you would just bolt that on with those 4 bolts, and that'd be the kickstand. And that's how that's gonna go. I haven't decided if I'm gonna use it yet or not, because with the short, the 50-inch trolling motor, I don't have to worry about that. I don't run in a lot of rough water. If I was running in a lot of big rough water, then I would probably go ahead and put that on. It's probably advice from Garmin to put that on. I just never do run it. But here's your the other spot that it would go on right here. I just have to kind of reroute this just a little bit or go around it if I want to put it on that side, which is probably where I would put that at. I think we might go ahead and get that installed, but that's looking like that's how it's going to work. I might have to move this graft over a tad, or I might just get the right thread bolt, take that handle off, because I never mess with that. Once that unit it's set where it's set, so I might just put a stainless bolt in there, and then that'll clear it. I might have to move that top graft just a tad, but it's not going to be a big deal to do that. All right, guys, that's all there is to the installation. I mean, it's very easy. We're gonna do setup. I'll show you how to set that up. You're gonna need some information before you set it up. You're gonna need to know what from the center line of your boat to the spy pole center line is. You're gonna need to know how far it is from the stern to the spy pole. You're gonna need to know that distance. And you're gonna need to know the same distances for all the GPS devices or heading sensors that you have. So if you have, like I have two 24XD heading sensor GPS pucks, I've got to put the location of them. I've got to put, what the center line, from the center line of the boat to it is, and I have to put from the stern to it. So you need to know them measurements, or take a tape measure with you when you're out on the water and get that. Also, any unit that has, it's going to say built in. So all your units that's on the network are going to have a GPS in them internally. So you're going to have to tell it, where the center line is, from the center line of the boat to the unit is on all your units. So I've got 4 units. I've got 2 at the console and I've got 2 at the bow. So I've got to input all that information in there so it will know where, I guess it's doing all the math calculations or whatever it is to determine the GPS waypoint. I would assume it's doing some calculations so it would know what heading sensor it's going to use. I'm not really for sure on that. I did call Garmin, and Garmin's customer support is A1. I mean, is the best you're ever going to have. But unfortunately, those guys, it's a new product line for them, and I think there's only one guy that usually kind of answers the questions for the spy pole. I think there's 2 guys that know it, that I know of. And I know that when I've called them to ask them some of the complicated questions, like the heading sensor, I'd like to know what heading sensor that it's using. There's no way for it to know. I mean, I don't know. I've gotten 2 different answers from Garmin. I need to follow up with that. One guy says that it takes the best signal, and that's the one it uses. That doesn't really make sense to me. Another person said that whatever unit you're using the spy pole on is the heading sensor that it's using for the spy pole. That makes more sense to me, but I haven't got an answer on that. I need to get that confirmed from someone at Garmin. It would just be nice to know what GPS it's using and what heading sensor it's using on the boat if you're not using the one that came with it. Now I am using that one, but I don't know if it's using that. I have no clue. But that's something that we'll have to follow up on. I would assume that since you're having to input all this measurements, that it can pick up that stuff off of the network, either wireless, of course. It could be somehow coming up with distance, so it can kind of determine which one it wants to use that's closest to the spy pole. That's what I think. It looks like there could be some calculations, some trig in there, mathematics that they're using, and it needs that information to determine what it's going to use. So you've got a way to accurately, when you lock on a waypoint and you move that boat around, where to stay locked on that piece of structure from your waypoint screen on your unit. That's what I'm thinking it's for. If you haven't already upgraded your batteries to lithium batteries, you need to look at MillerTech. I mean, they've got the best warranty in the industry. 10-year, it's non-prorated. You need to look at all these other manufacturers. They'll tell you they got 10, 11, 12, 15 years. I don't know. I've looked at all of them, and all of them have prorated in there. They're all prorated, every one of them. Basically, after 5 years, you got no warranty. With MillerTech, It is non-pro rated, 10 years. It's an Amish company up in Ohio, and man, it's great customer service, best customer service. They make really good batteries. They ship out the same day if you get them ordered before, I believe, 1 o'clock Eastern time. If you want to save money on anything that MillerTech has on their website, all you have to do is use the link that's in this video or the Shop Now button, or you can use a discount code at checkout, STAN10. That'll give you 10% off anything that you put in your shopping cart at checkout. If you click on the link, it should bring you in there and automatically put that code STAN10 in there for you. But if for some reason it doesn't, use STAN10 as a discount code. You'll save. Free shipping on a certain amount. Pretty much most everything that's shipped out of there is free shipping. Give MillerTech lithium batteries a try.